price. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling to mankind that there are people who wrote book in their own hand and they attribute to Allah. For what? To earn a miserable price. So the Quran gives a solution for these problems of these people who claim and who wrote the books. God Almighty is telling that فَوَيْلٌ لَهُمْ مِمَّا كَتَبَتْ أَيْدِيهِمْ, that woe to all those people of what they write. وَوَيْلٌ لَهُمْ مِمَّا يَكْسِبُونَ, and woe to all of their wealth, what they have earned. So this verse of the Quran, it is giving an indication that those people who claim and who lies, and they claim that this is revelation they received from Almighty God for material gain, God says that curse be upon all of these people. If we, for sake of argument, assume that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was telling a lie, God forbid, then he himself is cursing him in his own book, which we believe not. He never lied. He always says that he is the messenger and whatever the message he received is from Almighty God. So we find other examples in the Quran. That there were people who were always surrounding the Prophet. And sometimes the Prophet's son died. So there was a solar eclipse. And the people start claiming that, look, he is a great person. Because when we look at the history, we find there are various examples when certain things happen, people start believing that the person is God, or he is something who himself is miraculous. But the Prophet immediately claimed that, look, the sun and the moon, these are not ellipses because of the diet of any person. It is a sign of the Creator. So he was correcting his people so that they may not misunderstood him. And there was other people who claim that the Prophet, peace be upon him, he attributed the Quran, he wrote the Quran for himself, and he attributed it to God because he want a moral decision. He was trying to unite the Arabs. And we know from the history, if we have this understanding, or the records tells us, that these Arabs, they were the brutal people. Even the master historian, Thomas Carlyle, he was giving a series of talk in 1840, who is recognized as one of the greatest thinkers of 20th century in England, by the title Heroes and Hero Worship. And he is addressing to the Arabs by telling that the human brute, almost without sin, the only things that distinguish the Arab from the rest of the animal, from the rest of the creation, is their form. In the form, the Arabs were like human. But in nature, the historian says, they were the human brute. They were the rebellious people in history. And Thomas Carlyle, he is again telling in his book that poor shepherd people roaming unnoticed in his desert since the creation of the world. The Arabs, they were these brutal people. No emperor or no ruler or no judge or no power was trying to rule these Arabs. The Egyptians, they passed them by. The Romans, they passed them by. It was a liability of these people that any emperor, they want to rule these people. So Thomas Carlyle is telling that these are the poor shepherd people. And they are growing unnoticedly since the creation of the world. And he is telling to these people, see, they have got a prophet whom you call. So we call them the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And he is telling, so there was sent a prophet with a message that they could believe. See, the unnoticeable, they become world notable. The small, it becomes great. Within a century afterward, Arabia, Granada in this hand, Delhi in another. Glancing valor in the light of a genius, Arabia shines to a great extent in a great section of the world. Belief is great, so elevating as you believe. So it was hard to unite the Arabs, we have to agree. But if a person want to unite the Arabs and want moral rescission, how could he start with a lie? So it was not possible to unite the Arabs by telling a lie, because during his lifetime it may be happen that sometimes they captured that he was lying, God forbid, but he never lied. He always says that this is the book of God and I am a messenger. And the verse of the Quran also tells us, which we find in Surah Tawbah chapter 9 verse 61, that there were people who was always watching the Prophet. They claim that this man, he always speaks to all groups of people, neither a rich nor a poor. He speaks to all sections of the people. Well, those people, they make remarks that, oh, he listened to everyone. Because Abu Sufyan, the uncle of the Prophet, he was one of the richest. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, he was one of the head tribes of the Arabia, the Quraysh. But when a upper class people talks with the lower class people, the other people, they got shocked. So they make this remark that he listened to everyone. When the poor people, they invite the Prophet, he dined with them graciously. He sat in the floor. He ate with them, and he was always happy with what he had. So he was not trying to lie, or he was not trying to say the things which he was not obliged to. We find in the Quran that no verse of the Quran explicitly speaks about the Arabs. If the people claim that he want the unity of Arab, no verse of the Quran is addressed to the Arabs. No verse. If we made research, we find there is no verse which speaks only to the Arabs. There are verses which are addressed to the mankind. Some verses is addressed to the believer, and some verses is addressed to unbeliever.